August the 25th, 2023. First, guys, you're looking at the Gulf and the northwestern Caribbean in this map. But if you look up into the Gulf states, the rain you see going across Louisiana, here in Mississippi, and across Alabama, Georgia, and up into Arkansas, it came at a perfect time. The actual temperature was 104 as this rain came through. It wasn't heavy flooding rain or anything. There's still some in the area, but it dropped at 20 degrees, and that was to 84, from 104 to 84 as the actual temperature. Now it's warmed back up somewhat. It is, it is 6:17 p.m. Central. The temperature outside is 87, but because of the humidity, guys, the real feel is 101. So we expect that, but at least the sun is blocked. But that temperature was such a blessing today, man. It was fine. But what we got coming up into the Gulf of Mexico is going to bring some rain, but it could be very dangerous for folks, especially in Florida. You also have moisture in the western Gulf that may blend in with this low pressure system that's already starting to rotate. It's 80% chance of development, and if you get all of that moisture wound up together, it will cause more flooding as it comes ashore. Now, we'll look at the models, but they are pinpointing Apalachicola, Florida right now, maybe just slightly to the right of it, and that right side of the storm is always the worst. But we've seen it too many times get up into the northern sections of the Gulf, different storms, and make a hard right. Don't forget that it can do it, doesn't always, but Michael was a great reminder of that happening. But now let's take a look at the spaghetti models and some of the forward-looking models. Now, this was just updated at 6 p.m. The Navy model is not here, but the other very accurate model, which is the lime green one right here, very pale green, is the Canadian model, and it's very accurate. I'm looking for the Navy to come in here with a new model sometimes tonight, or at least by in the morning. Some of the other models, the TABD shows it coming in a little further south, just north of Tampa. But if it skirts that close to the coast for you folks in Tampa, you're going to get the bad side of the storm. In the white, you got the TABS coming in north of that, but you got the what they call the TCON in orange. But again, the two that I watch every year, this is one of them, the Canadian model, and this is just to the east of Apalachicola, guys. You know where we're talking about there, and that would be put the bad side of the storm pushing up into this bay right there. So that's going to trap it. It's going to cause more flash flooding. Let me say this, as I always do, these models will change, but we're getting very close to that point. The storm's moving fast. Now, this goes back a couple of hours, and by the way, they're calling it Invest 93L. This is an infrared enhanced view. You can see where the moisture is. You can't see the moisture came through the Gulf states because of the banner here, but that's a lot of moisture, and it's going to mix with what's being pushed this way. It's cloudy, but right here is plenty to strengthen everything, and it's going to leave low pressure in the Gulf for a few days, which would be good. It may help block some of that heat. Now, this is the Canadian model, gives you the vector lines and your pressure. Here is Franklin. Again, it's projected to still move to the left of Bermuda, which is the tiny dot there, and skate back up into the northeast. Notice your high pressure is backing out. This is today, and that rain helped, and the heat, it helped break up some of that heat inside that dome. Let's play this thing forward. You'll notice the system here forming in the Gulf of Mexico, 28th, 29th. It's coming ashore. We're going to let it play all the way through as we see both storms move out. Notice the low pressure maintains in the Gulf, and that there's a couple of systems that could form behind it. But again, right here, let's stop it. Here we are on the 29th. This system is approaching, it's left of the Bahamas or almost east of the Bahamas. At this point on the 29th, you would be getting your worst weather from this if you're in the Bahamas, if it stays in this track. And then it's going to start pulling the system here in the Gulf of Mexico. Let's just step it through now the next few days. Still into the 29th. Notice your blue dot is getting a little bluer there, and that's telling you the barometric pressure. It's on the right. It's going from 995, 992, and headed for 958. It's again the barometric pressure. Let's step this through. Still on the 29th, right at the tip of Apalachicola. What is that to the left? Port St. Joe, guys. Refresh my memory. But right there, we're into the 30th. So more than likely that will be late at night, which would be what? The 30th is, 5 days away? But look at the 29th. We're looking at 4 days away to be prepared. Right there with the 29th. You need to have all your ducks in a row by this point. But again, guys, this could change west or east as far as these spaghetti models, but it always seems to make a hard right. I think what it is, the outer edges of the storm, because it's going counterclockwise, it wants to roll to the right as it incurs the friction of land. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's spinning up counterclockwise, hits the land, it wants to roll to the right. So as the outer edges of the storm hit, a lot of times that can be that turning factor. But you can see at this point on the 30th, you're right off of Bermuda here. Let's step it on through. Excuse me, that was the 29th. Now on the 30th, you're due east of Bermuda. Storms coming shore, Apalachicola, somewhere in there, crossing into Alabama, still the 30th. Still the 30th, getting into South Carolina along the coast. That means the storm is going to have 1 foot and some very warm water around the Gulf Stream itself. Advances right up the coast, still the 30th. There's the 31st. It's close to the South Carolina, North Carolina border, still partially in the water, still feeding the strength of the storm. It's coming offshore, still on the 31st. Weakening, getting in cool water. There's September 1st. See the system right here. Remember, September 10th is the peak of hurricane season. So it's not over with yet. But you guys, right now, everybody needs the cooling wind and the rain. And the one thing about it that's kind of positive, I did a video earlier about the cool front coming in Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Mostly Monday, if the further south you get. But that may help as the storm comes through not to raise the humidity up so bad. If you remember, Katrina wiped out everybody's power for weeks, and the humidity was there the next day, and it was very, very hot. But guys, I don't want to take up a lot of time. It's going to take some time to load this. Usually this time of day, a lot of people are on YouTube, and anytime you're showing satellite images or moving models, it takes a lot longer. We're going to be keeping an eye on it, guys. It's a heads up. Be safe.